Hello everyone, and welcome back to the RIPcast. After a daunting 5-month unexpected hiatus, the world works in mysterious ways, and we appreciate your unwavering dedication. The love in our hearts knows no bounds, and we found the song in our voices once again. I'm your host, Bern Faraday, and I'm joined today by three of my best friends in the world. The Beast from the East, Shantari.
Hey gamers.
The Thunder from Down Under, of Vanix Recuyer.
Hey, I was going to say hey gamers, but we can talk about it later.
And my other best friend, Beef Triformis McLargehuge.
I'm so glad you didn't call me what you wrote down.
It's alright.
The
How's it
Ringo
going?
of the podcast.
Hey, I like Ringo. Come on.
You're right in. If you like Ringo, write into the podcast.
Why doesn't anyone like Ringo?
I
Okay.
like Ringo, but he's Ringo.
What does that mean?
There's a reason they call him Ringo.
Okay.
Is his actual name Ringo? What's his real name? Do we know?
Pretty sure it might just be
There's
Ringo.
no
Oh,
way
wait.
his name is Ringo Starr. Come
Steady
on.
on gamers, we've got to check real quick why he's called
Okay.
Ringo.
Real name.
I had the most
Richard
beautiful intro
Starkey.
that I've ever done, and then you motherfuckers squabble about Ringo 3 seconds into the fucking podcast.
No, this is
Oh,
very
listen.
important.
His name was Richard. His name is Richard Starkey.
Oh my god. So it's basically Ringo Starr. Like,
No.
just take the letters and it's Ringo Starr.
Okay.
Just take them and do something with
Well,
them.
anyway. It's been a while since we've done this.
Has it actually been 5 months?
It's been about 4 or 5 months, yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
I remember at the end of the last episode I said we were going to get these out once a week.
Yeah, I just didn't say which week it would be.
Hopefully we'll get at least once per month by the time this year is over.
As you can see, After is not here.
He might show up.
There's a hurricane going on where he's from, so, which is not the
Could be
reason he's
dead
not
by
here,
now.
but just saying,
It's a good excuse though.
yeah, it's
really.
a great excuse. I've used
Like,
that excuse in the past when there were
I
hurricanes.
can't make it to raid. There's a hurricane on my house.
You don't need a doctor's note if there's a hurricane.
It's true.
You need a meteorologist note.
Last time there was a hurricane in New Jersey, school was canceled for like a month because like half my classmates lost their homes. That was pretty cool.
God.
Half my classmates lost their lives.
That'd be even more tragic.
Would you rather lose your life or your home? Think about it.
I'm pretty sure I'd rather lose my home. I almost said life. What is wrong? I don't even own a home.
This is why you're the Ringo of the podcast. Anyway, let's talk about some fucking topics, shall we?
Like the game we've all been playing recently.
Yeah, the new Final Fantasy patch came out. 3.4?
3.4.
What's the name of the patch?
Heaven's Ward, The Rise of Alexander the Great.
What's that?
Soul Surrender was the title the patch got.
Dude, that's a cool name.
It's a really
compared
cool
to all the other
patch.
names.
Tell us about it, Bern.
Alright, well they added a bunch more of the main story, which is pretty legit. A lot of good shit going on in there. They released the new raid tier. This will be the final raid tier before the next expansion in like 8 months or something probably.
Wait, so they're not releasing any more raid content for 8 months?
Yeah, well, if they follow what they did for 2.0, then it should be about the same thing. So this is the last major raid installment until the expansion.
That's a long fucking time to go with.
Don't quote me on 8 months. That's just what I'm saying because I feel that's about how long 2.4 was until 3.0 came out.
And that's not too...
I'm just guesstimating, but it kind of sucks because this raid tier is really, really easy.
Is it?
You want to know why it really fucking sucks?
Why?
Because you're going to have all of those months of nobody raiding in Final Fantasy XIV. Meanwhile, World of Warcraft Legion is going to be pumping out fucking content and stealing so many players from Final Fantasy XIV.
I mean, probably.
It's like
I wouldn't-
the reverse of what happened with
By
Heaven's Ward?
With Heaven's Ward.
Endgame and content, wow, at the end of expansions usually lasts for 2 or 3 years. Like
But-
ICC.
Yeah,
It was like,
that's
I think,
about
a year.
How long it usually lasts.
Yeah, but how long does
Yeah.
it take people to clear that stuff? I don't know how fast progression goes in World of Warcraft.
I'm pretty sure ICC was cleared in like 3 months on
Yeah,
the highest
25 man
difficulty.
heroic.
If it wasn't gated, it probably would have been destroyed in like 12 minutes.
They did put out like a mini raid.
Yeah, but it sucks.
How does World of
Yeah,
Warcraft gate their stuff? Just through gear?
You just can't do it. No, you just can't do it. Like they release wings of the dungeon because in WoW when they release a raid has like 20 bosses.
Oh.
So it's like you can only do 4 bosses the first week, then I don't think they've done it recently, but that's how it used to be.
Emerald Nightmares dropped all at once.
Yeah, how long does it take for someone to clear that hardest difficulty when it's released? So if it releases like today, how long does it normally take?
I think the way Legion worked is the raid didn't release for like 3 or 4 weeks because they didn't want people rushing to max level.
Yeah.
But I think when the new raid Emerald Nightmare got released, I think it got cleared in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
It was real fast.
On the highest difficulty. But I mean, like, we wouldn't even be near that because it's actually really difficult. But like the top tier guild has already
the
cleared.
people who like optimize literally everything and play the game all the time can clear it pretty quickly.
It was a Russian team, wasn't it?
Was it Russian?
I don't know. But for comparison, in the first 2 days, the highest difficulty raid was cleared when 3.4 dropped.
Wow.
Holy shit.
It was cleared, I think, Thursday morning after maintenance went down, or after maintenance was done and the game came back up.
Like that's the hardest mode. Like
That is
Savage.
Yeah, Alexander, the creator, Solo the creator, Savage was cleared.
Dang.
I mean, are they just trying to not have what happened with Alex 4 Savage, where it took like ages for anyone to clear it?
I honestly don't know what they're, because even like Yoshi P himself said that it would be cleared very, very quickly. So I'm not sure like what why they wanted that cleared so quickly or whatever.
Yeah, you shouldn't want your content cleared quickly when there's not going to be more for another 8 months.
I mean, they'll like, because there's the Warring Triad is still a thing, because they actually just released the second one of those 3 fights, the Goddess, and that one, honestly, that one's pretty easy too.
So they just released a bunch of easy content because people were complaining that was too hard.
Maybe.
To be fair, the Alex grind when Gordius was a thing was pretty fucking boring.
Well, Gordius was the worst raid tier I've ever seen in my entire life.
Had some of the best music though.
Gordius was so badly tuned. Like the difficulty between the second fight and the third fight was so much.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you remember doing that.
A2 is super easy.
Yeah, 1 and 2. 1 was kind of bullshit. 2 was really easy, and 3 was.
I never
dumb.
beat 3. So.
3 was dumb, and then 4. Don't even get me started on that final fight in Gordius. That shit is some of the dumbest.
Also, I hate the raid finder system that Final Fantasy XIV has.
Do you? For what reason?
Yeah. I don't like having to run the easy version of the raid every week for gear upgrades.
Oh, right. No, I don't like that either, because you'll get in there and then some stupid asshole who doesn't know how to play their job will roll higher than you on some shit.
I mean, it's not so much that. It just like cheapens the raid when you actually get to it, when you've already done it like 50 million times.
I mean, World of Warcraft has the same like sort of system with looking for raid, but the looking for raids are so tuned down that it's like nothing compared to actually doing.
And also, I think the new looking for raid in WoW has like really low item level gear.
Yeah, it's item level 835, which you can get better than that from literally just doing mythic dungeons.
Yeah, you can get better gear from dungeons. So.
But speaking of Raid Finder, they actually do have a system that they implemented called Raid Finder. Which is what I thought you were...
Is it just like a...
Yeah, it's Duty Finder, but for the raids. So you can play the raids with people on other servers.
Oh yeah, so it's looking for raid from WoW, basically. It's literally the same thing.
But they have something like that in... They've already had something like that in...
Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy 14.
Not for
they've always had that.
They had the Duty Finder.
Void Ark?
No. Oh. They had Duty Finder, which was the baby shit, but this is for the actual raid. Like the actual the Savage mode.
Oh.
Yeah, and they have really, really strict I guess the word is escaping me right now, but you can't you can't have more than one of the same job. You have to have 2 ranged damage dealers
it's got roles. It's got roles that you queue up for.
Yeah, you have to meet that set party.
So you can pug Savage raids now?
I mean, you could always pug them, but now you can pug them with people from other servers.
Through the Duty Finder.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, If you're one person, can you just queue and get put into a Duty Finder Savage?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That seems like one of the most awful experiences a human being could endure.
Believe it
honestly.
or not, because Sophia Extreme, the goddess, that is actually under Raid Finder also, and I queued for that a few times with Afro, and we cleared that fight the first time through Raid Finder.
Yeah, but you said that's kind of an easy fight, right? Like, imagine doing, like, Gordius Savage through...
Okay, yeah, you
Raid
couldn't do
Finder.
Gordius. You could not do Gordius like that. You could honestly do Alexander, the new one now.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably do that through Raid Finder.
Oh, okay.
At least the first two. The third fight apparently is kind of hard, or harder compared to the first two.
I guess maybe they're trying to gear the game more towards a casual audience now.
Maybe.
That, like, seems what those design choices point toward.
Yeah, I wonder if they made the fights easier this time because of the new Raid Finder system.
I don't know. They implemented that Raid Finder system halfway through the last raid tier through Midas.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they did, because they had already tuned like everything for, what they wanted for Midas. And honestly, I think Midas was a good raid difficulty setting for Final Fantasy XIV. Like, it was hard, but it wasn't like ridiculous like A3 was in Gordius.
Did we do any of Midas?
You might have done the normal
do?
mode a little bit.
I think we only did
And
the
then that
normal
was
mode,
it.
yeah.
I'd quit that shitty fucking game by then.
Whoa!
We're playing
Whoa.
we're playing a much more superior game.
Much more superior.
I'll
was
tell you
definitely
what,
a sentence.
Legion is streamlined as fuck. Legion is like a perfectly crafted MMO expansion.
It flows really well.
It's really slick.
So it's very attractive.
After 7 expansions, they have fucking nailed doing this shit.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about Legion is leveling. They made it a lot more open to choose whatever zone you want to do. So there's 4 zones that you can level in. And wherever you go, you can choose any of them to start with. And all the content scales to your level, which is... It keeps it just difficult enough, I think.
The great thing is on PvP servers, because of the level scaling, there are people that are like 109 and the people that are level 90 questing the same area. So the PvP is a nightmare in any of the zones because it's just lobies getting killed by higher level people endlessly.
But I mean, isn't that all you want from World PvP?
Yeah.
Just-
I did like Legion's leveling content, but I'm really not looking forward to leveling another character through it.
It's very...
It's quite linear. Like, even though you can choose which zones you go in first, once you're in the zones, like, the quest lines are quite linear. They all take you in the same direction, and you're always going to do the same things in the same order. So I don't think leveling alts is going to be particularly fun in Legion.
Alts in Legion are just not great at the moment because of the artifact system.
Speaking of the artifact system, how do you guys feel about it? Do you think it's better than like new talents or stuff like that?
I really don't know how to feel about it, because there's some quite important class features that you won't get if you spec your artifact wrong. For example, Fire Mage has a talent on their weapon that makes their damage increase every time they crit for like a little bit of time, if they do consecutive crits, which is like the whole core of playing a Fire Mage. And I didn't spec directly towards that when I first got my artifact weapon. So now I'm kind of stuck in a rut where I've got to grind loads and loads of artifact power to get that.
Can you not
Yeah, that artifact power goes up like exponentially.
can you not reset your artifact?
You can, but
You lose a rank, right?
yeah, I figure I might as well just wait.
Just one rank?
Well, one rank's a lot when it takes like 20,000 AP.
Yeah, but I'm
a
so
lot.
close to it now, I might as well just finish it off. Also, I guess the counterbalance to that is there are things called artifact research notes, which you can acquire from your class hall, which increases the amount of artifact power that you get when you use the things that give you artifact power.
You'll always be behind though, like no matter what.
Yeah.
True.
Like you can never truly catch up to somebody who's been doing it properly the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And like if you make an alt,
Unless you just do more world quests.
if you switch to an alt or a different spec, you'll never truly catch up to where you would have been had you just continued
Yeah.
with your main.
How do you feel with world quests being a thing?
It's all right.
Yeah, for those of who don't know, instead of dailies now in World of Warcraft, which would let you get reputation with various factions and get better gear. Instead, they have what's called world quests, which is they basically take quests you've already done and tune them for your max level, and they randomly place them all over the new zones.
Are they based on quests you've already done?
Some of them. Some of them are
as far as I can tell.
Some of them are similar.
They kind of, in my mind, fall into like 3 categories. So there's ones that you use like special, like the vehicles and stuff. Like in Suramar, there's the fell cannons, and you've got to shoot the bird people down. Then you've got the second lot, which are like the classic go here and kill 20 schmeckles or whatever. And then the other ones are like hunt down boss monsters.
Yeah, so instead of just doing the same set of quests every day, you just get like a billion randomized quests all over the map, and you can pick and choose which ones you want to do. And they give randomized loot and gear.
Although,
That's
one
all
very
right.
cool thing about the world quests is, I don't know what the current one is, or if there is one at the moment, but a couple of weeks back, I think, there was a world boss that spawned as one of the world quests called the Nidhogg, which was really awesome, because we had like 200 people like fighting this one world boss, and they scaled to the amount of people that you're fighting with. So it actually, felt like an MMO again.
Yeah, every week there's a new raid boss world quest, I believe.
Cool.
It's Withered Jim.
Withered Jim
right
is
now.
the one as of this podcast.
Don't mess with him. But it's really surprising how easy it is to make a group, and not just like, it's not like a duty finder thing, but they actually have something called group
Yeah, they re-added
finder.
the group finder, which exists for most of like vanilla Burning Crusade and Wrath Lich King.
And it's just a lot easier way to find people to do dungeons with.
Although it was server locked during the first 3 expansions, wasn't it, Rec? You couldn't group up with people from other servers. Yeah, so that's a big advantage that it's got now, is that you can make a group with just anyone that's playing the game on your realm. So.
Yeah, group finder basically just lets you put your name on a list of groups, and it like lets people request an invite to your group, and then you can invite them from any server. So if
You can see like their name and their item level, and if you don't like their name or something, you can be like, no, fuck you, I don't want you in our group. Decline the request.
Yeah, so it's like a good mix between automatic pugging and actually knowing people.
And the fact that you have to actually go to the dungeon.
And there's actually on the listing thing, there's a section for what voice over IP programmer you're using.
I think WoW has given up on their.
They haven't given up
voice
because they're
program.
working on one right now. I think it's being released with 7.1.
Wait, what?
How do you think it's going to work? Do you think it's going to be like anyone nearby you can hear?
That would
No,
be
it's gonna be voice
amazing,
chat.
because I would be running through Val'sharah, just screaming obscenities, chasing down every member of the Horde I can find.
That's probably why they
I
don't
imagine,
do it.
yeah.
Come to think of it,
I'd probably get banned from that pretty quickly.
You're pretty good.
that would be great. Isn't that how it worked before? Or was
No, it's only party members, and you have to specifically enable it.
God, I
it was
remember.
terrible.
I think it was back in Burning Crusade when I was leveling. Some person invited me to their party to do like quests, and they started talking. I didn't know what to do, and I just left the party and never.
You were just terrified.
Ran. I was terrified. Like, I didn't understand. I was a baby child back then. It was
Alright,
awful.
well, Legion's good. That's pretty much all I gotta say. Like, it's not spectacular. It's not like the resurgence of old school World of Warcraft, but it's definitely like a really fun game and worth spending a bit of time with.
Okay, before we move on to the next topic, I just saw this. Ringo Starr is only 5'6".
That explains a lot.
Does it?
Yeah,
He's so short.
exactly.
How could you even see him over the drums?
You can't. That's why he's Ringo, man.
That's why they put him on the drums.
Oh god. Okay.
No one would see him.
Alright,
Anyways.
what's this Onward multiplayer VR
Yeah.
military sim that you put on the notes?
I've been doing a bit of VR over the summer, but I've been kind of busy and not really much interesting games have been coming out for VR. I feel like things have kind of quieted down, but there is a game that has been released. It's in early access, of course. It's called Onward, and what it is, it's basically Arma, but in VR. So the way it works is you get put on a team. You're either terrorists or
Not terrorists.
the other side, not terrorists, yeah. And You communicate to your teammates with radios. You can coordinate to siege a building. And I think what I found most interesting about it was it's very realistic, but not like visually. It's realistic in the terms of like how people react about each other. Like you can take people hostage. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't know. I'm out of
the enemy AI is like really.
No, it's not enemy AI. It's other people.
Oh wait, what do you mean? Like how they react?
It's yeah, because when you get put in VR in a freaking battlefield, it's different.
So you're talking about like how people react to playing a game like that in VR.
Yeah, like all the videos I've seen, like people they either act like they're Spec Ops IRL,
yeah,
like give out orders, or they just like freak out.
Okay, so I wish Afro was here because me and him played quite a lot of Armor together, and that's exactly what Armor gets like. Is that you've got the guys who like know what they're doing, they've read the fucking Armor handbook, and they're like calling all the shots over the radios, they're squad leading and telling everyone what to do. Then you've got like the fuck boys on the front line who are just getting like mowed down and screaming all over the place. But something interesting about the fact that they're doing this in VR is that in Armor there was kind of a trend that the guys who really sweated the game would have, you know, those like head motion tracking things.
Oh god.
They'd have those so they could use them to like tilt their character's head in the game by tilting their own head.
Oh my god.
I'd say I guess the whole VR Armor thing is just kind of an evolution of that.
Yeah, it's just an extension of that. I saw someone get their first like knife kill, and they were like in shock afterwards. He just like he pulled out his knife and he started stabbing. He's like, "Oh God, I'm sorry."
Did the person on the other end start like screaming and like realistic blood come out of their neck?
Well, I think as soon as you die, your mic gets cut.
Jesus.
Wow.
I mean, it's a good question. Are people gonna get like fucking hella VR fucking PTSD from this shit?
I don't know.
I feel like it'd be possible.
I definitely feel like it'd be possible, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as
real PTSD.
I want somebody to hold ketchup packets in their hands on their controller, and and when they start stabbing somebody like that, they squeeze too tight and the ketchup packets bust, and they get the ketchup all over their hands.
Then they use the pass-through camera.
Yeah, it's just like, what have I become?
This is what war does.
Somebody hears them screaming from the other room, and they come in to check on them. See their hands all covered in red, and they're just like, "What happened?" It's like, "I killed a man."
Or like someone tries to tap you on the shoulder while you're playing, you jab them in the stomach with the controller.
With a real knife. Oh god! Because I keep sharp
the controller's actually a real knife.
Because I keep really sharp objects on my desk, so if I'm ever playing VR, I need to remember to remove them so I don't actually kill myself. How much have you been playing VR?
That sounds like
recently,
fun. I'd enjoy playing that in VR.
She did spend $800 on a.
I did listen.
It's an investment.
It's not that much money, really.
Sorry.
People spend way more on like Blu-ray.
Sorry to any of our viewers that don't come from high-income families with maids like beef.
Oh my god.
That $800 would probably pull them out of, poverty. Yes, $800.
You think $800 would pull someone out of poverty?
Yeah, that's
easily.
Rick, do you need $800? Are you stuck in poverty?
I could really go for some $800.
Listen, I'd take $800 right now if anyone's offering.
I mean, yeah, truthfully, me too.
gwmcasella@gmail.com, PayPal, if you want to send me $800. I mean,
hey, if you want to send me any amount of money, I don't even need $800. I'm fine with
Why are we starting a Patreon so we can milk?
our 100 viewers that can support our Patreon.
Hey, if they all donate $5 each, that's fucking...
Wait, let me do the math, hold on. I get my calculator.
Yeah.
My calculator.
You didn't calculate 5 times 100 on a calculator?
Oh no, I'm going to do 5 times 10, 10 times. I feel like that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, it seems like the easiest way. Anyway.
I think so. I think I'm gonna get Onward, and when we meet up for Magfest, I'll bring.
That was an
along.
incredible segue. Holy shit!
Is everyone excited to meet up for Magfest? I'm definitely going to be coming to.
You're definitely coming. We already know.
It really depends on my exam timetable. Listen, if my exams are like later in January, then I can come. If they're really early in January,
Hey, if you can't go to that, we
It's
should all go to SoccerCon in April.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'll pass on
You
that
don't want
one.
to go to an anime convention?
No, I think I'm alright.
I've been to an anime convention.
Listen,
it's
you
not
went to an
good.
anime convention when you were like 12, and then you saw the Death Note movie, so I don't.
Oh God, don't remind me. The
Things have
Death Note
changed since
movie.
then.
Oh yeah, there's going to be
Yeah.
a Death Note live action
With
movie.
Justin Timberlake, right?
There already was a Death.
And Willem
Wait,
Dafoe.
no.
Willem Dafoe as L and Justin Timberlake as Light.
That'd be the best. I'd watch that.
Everyone watched. Are you kidding?
There's the Monogatari movie, the second one coming
Yeah,
out.
Keys and Monogatari is coming out in approximately 2 weeks.
And you're going to
I'm
actually
gonna see
see
it
that
live,
in real
yeah.
life.
Live.
What's it like seeing anime movies in person?
The fan service scenes are really incredibly awkward to watch in a full movie theater of dudes.
How about that one part where
Yeah,
the
I was
amputated
right.
lady is,
Willem
like,
Dafoe
crawling on
isn't going to be in the Death Note film. In
Wait, are you
2017.
serious?
He's voicing.
That wasn't a joke?
He's voicing Ryo.
Oh, holy shit. That's awesome,
Yeah.
actually.
how is this
Oh,
happening?
he'd be so good.
Also, they've changed Light Yagami to Light Turner because American audiences can have.
Well, I guess it makes
the
sense if
name
it
Yagami.
takes place in America, which I imagine it will.
Yeah, it does. So.
Wait, his last name
So
is
it's
Tanner?
like a reimagining.
Yeah, it's like a
Sounds like a
a
May
reimagining
64
of
skit.
Death Note in live action. I don't know if it's live action actually. It might be animated.
Light Tanner.
That sounds like an oxymoron.
Please, I don't want
Light
to talk
Tanner.
about
Oh my
oxymorons.
God. You're right. Dang, this wordplay. It's gonna be a great movie, I'm sure.
Nat Wolf is going to be Light.
Who?
I don't know who that is.
Keith Stanfield is going to be L. I don't know who.
Time
that
to
is.
Google.
Apparently, he was in the Purge Anarchy.
Who's Steve Blum gonna play?
Steve
Bloom.
Steve
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando
Oh.
Blomqvist.
Steve Orlando. Oh, they're going to make L black. Oh, dude.
Whoa.
Well, assuming it's live action, not animated.
Oh yeah, because Keith
Wait.
Stanfield's playing him, who, as we all know, is a black man.
Oh, okay, wait. Keith Stanfield joined the cat. Yeah, I guess it's live action, huh? That's gonna be weird. I can't imagine that Ryuk's gonna look even slightly in place if they do a
They
live
definitely
action
seem to be
Death Note.
taking a liberal approach to the source.
I mean, that's the only way you
material.
can adapt Death Note. I feel like it wouldn't work very
Adapting
well.
an anime to live action.
I feel like it wouldn't work very well if they just did it like play by play, just exactly from the anime.
Yeah. I hope when he writes in the
He eats a
people's
chip?
name to die. That was a great sentence, by the way. When he does that, I hope there are like massive explosions, like
Like their eyes just explode.
Like
out
that's
their
how he
face.
kills people when he writes their name; they just explode.
like it's Michael Bay explosions. Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
I really hope they keep the potato chip scene, where in order to evade L, he hides.
He had a notepad inside the bag
Yeah.
of potato chips.
So every time he reaches in to get a potato chip, he writes a name. That's why L can't tell that he's doing it. It's honestly the most brilliant scene anyone's ever added in anything.
And you know the scene where he's writing all the names and he like flicks the pen a million times and it's like real anime and there's like the streaks of
Yeah.
light coming off the end of the pen. I want to know how they're gonna work that into the movie.
I'm actually really excited for this movie. I'm gonna see it, no matter how bad it is. It has Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. I think what they'll probably do is it'll probably be him with just special. Like he's not gonna be an animated character.
He's already an
I
animated
imagine it's
character.
just gonna be. I imagine it's just gonna be special effects. I imagine Willem Dafoe's actually gonna be acting.
They just have Willem Dafoe suspended from a harness following Al around.
This movie's gonna be terrible, by the way.
Yeah, I can't imagine how they're gonna make that not awful. I mean, it's a good
Who
story,
approved
but
of it?
It's all right. It's sort of Death Note really falls apart the further you get into it, though.
More closely you look at it.
yeah, basically after like Light starts working with Al, it just goes to
Well, after
Hilarious
spoilers, everyone's seen Death Note. It's from like 2004.
everyone's seen Death Note. It's from like a million.
After
years ago.
Elf dies, it sort of takes away that dynamic, and the show still goes on for
Yeah.
like another 10 episodes after that.
Like the dynamic is those two characters playing off each other, and then when El's gone, there's,
Like it should
no
just
point to the
if they
show.
wanted to kill El off, it should just ended there. Like just let
Yeah.
Light win.
I'm
just be like
I'm 90% sure if the movie goes that far.
I don't see anyone as those other characters, whatever their names were.
I can't even remember how they like corner him at the end of Death
It was
Note.
stupid.
I remember it being stupid.
The way it
I
worked
didn't
is I think
understand it at all.
Light employed like another dude to start writing names, and he was really dumb, and they like switched out his book with somebody else's.
Yeah.
So when he was writing down names, it wasn't actually doing anything. So they caught Light in the corner. He's like, "Oh, my dude already wrote down your names." So he basically admitted it, and then they were like, "Oh, joke's on you." We switched out his book.
And I
at the
remember
end.
he had like a scrap of Death Note in his watch or something.
Yeah, and he got shot by, everyone knows.
And then wasn't there something like he refused to take the Shinigami eyes, even though they would have saved him?
Yeah, because the Shinigami eyes let you see anybody's name, but they reduce your lifespan by half.
Yeah, but if he's gonna get shot, why would he just take him anyway?
By the time he was shot, it was too late. He couldn't write down any names.
Yeah.
He was dead. Little Death Note.
Do you guys know what L's real name is?
Nate
L.
Silver.
Nate Silverspoon, yeah.
Keith Stanfield.
No, his name was L. Lawliot.
Ron Hubbard.
Oh my god, it all makes sense now.
Okay.
Speaking of anime, how have you guys enjoyed Mob Psycho 100?
Best
Yeah,
anime
right
in the last 30 years.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's by the same people who made...
The same
Same
people.
person.
It's
Same-
the story is by the same person. It's animated by a different studio, I
by the
believe.
same person who did
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man, which is also getting another season soon. But Mob Psycho 100, I think, it does a lot of things better than...
No, it's definitely better than One Punch Man. It's much more
Yeah.
of a story. Whereas One Punch Man is just like a bit that they did for 12 episodes. Which is good, but
But speaking of
Mob
One
Psycho
Punch
100
Man,
is a lot more focused.
What about One Punch Man?
getting a second season.
Yeah,
I think about to say they're making a live action movie.
Getting a live action.
Okay, real talk, who'd play
Willem Dafoe.
Saitama? They just shave his head,
Yeah,
put him in spandex. That'd be great.
I'd watch it.
Oh, we need Michael Caine in the live action Death Note. That would be great.
They should have had Willem Dafoe as Light and Michael Caine as L. I feel like that would have been...
That would have been amazing. Holy shit.
But played totally straight if they're still teenagers.
Oh god,
Yeah.
someone needs to like cut together Michael Caine like writing down.
Yeah, I'm
in
sure there's
in
enough
some
scenes.
movie. Yeah, just like cut it together to be a one.
For the entire Death Note season.
That'd be great.
Do you guys think Michael Cera could play Saitama?
Hey, that would work.
Yeah,
Let's be honest, that
it
would...
could work. I don't know. I think
His face isn't really round enough, is it?
no one's is.
You need someone who's like just totally blank, like Keanu Reeves would make a
Oh
good
god, Keanu Reeves would be great.
shaved Keanu Reeves. He'd be a really good Saitama because he has that deadpan voice too.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves would make an amazing Light Yagami.
God.
You're not wrong.
There's not one celebrity that wouldn't make a great.
Oh, fucking John Wick 2's coming out as well. Sorry to cut off the Mob Psycho talk, but John Wick Part 2
Is it John Wick Part 2 or John Wick 2?
I think it's like John Wick Chapter 2 is the actual name of the movie. John Wick Chapter 2. Yeah, that's it.
So they must have been a lot of chapters then, because no book only has 2 chapters.
Hey, maybe this one does, dude. I've said so. Spoilers at the start of John Wick. His dog dies. If anyone hasn't seen John Wick,
Yeah, isn't that the
And
thing where he just
doesn't
is
look
really
good.
angry about his dog dying?
yeah. So the plot of John Wick is some guys break into his house and kill his dog, and they're like stealing from him. They're robbing his house, but they kill his dog. Is the main.
His dog is a
plot point,
casualty.
yeah. John Wick's just like loves his goddamn dog, and then the rest of the movie is just fucking John Wick going after these people and killing hundreds and hundreds of people in revenge for his dog.
So it's Taken, but
With a dog, and
With
the
a
dog is
dog.
dead.
It's Taken, but the dog's dead already.
It's nothing like Taken, really.
I guess your
Yeah.
dog dying is about on the same level as your daughter being kidnapped.
I don't know, I don't have a daughter or a dog, so... And neither of them died.
Wait, what's the plot of John Wick Chapter 2? Let me go read
His
this.
next dog gets killed. Just
His
Premise.
cat gets killed.
Legendary hitman John Wick is forced back out of retirement by a former associate planning to seize control of a shadowy... Okay, see, this sounds stupid. The reason the first film was so good is just because Keanu Reeves was mad that his dog was dead. And you can be like, fuck yeah, just kill these motherfuckers. They killed your dog. And now they're trying to, like, shoehorn some plot
now they're trying to make
into it.
a point
Yeah.
instead of just having a guy beating up guys for 2 hours.
Could you
That's what
replace
Hollywood does.
Could you replace that plot synopsis with
Synapses.
instead of the shadowy figures trying to seize control of whatever that was, seize control of his dog. You just read that for me real quick, but replace it major plot points with his dog.
Alright, 1 second. Hang on. Okay. Legendary hitman John Wick is forced back out of retirement by a former dog plotting to seize control of a shadowy international dog. Found by a blood oath to help him, John travels to Rome where he squares off against some of the world's deadliest dogs.
Oh, dude!
All right,
imagine like he has to fight a bunch of like different dogs.
It's like Scott Pilgrim
with
versus the
knives.
world but with dogs.
Scott Pilgrim versus the Mutts.
He has to fight all the ghosts of all his dead dogs.
Jesus.
That's brutal,
That'd
man.
be awesome.
Why does he have so many dead dogs?
he's got like a closet full of dead dogs.
Bluebeard's wives, man.
He gets on a massacre every time someone kills one of them as well.
Yeah. Anyways,
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
That was a brutal, absolutely
We'll cut-
brutal
we'll cut
silence.
that
don't worry,
silence out.
it'll be gone.
Jesus.
It'll be gone. There's about 28-minute silence there.
Yeah,
cut it
if anyone
out.
listen to the podcast, we just had some serious
We were just contemplating Keanu Reeves murdering.
There's just no way to
dogs.
get out of a conversation. Like, there's no way to move on to a different topic from that.
There's no way to
naturally.
transition away from saying John Wick's fighting a horde of ghost dogs.
I'll just play some stupid little tune and we'll cut to
Just
our next
blast
conversation
chiptune.
topic.
Yeah, like they do in
Yeah,
Halo Infinite.
exactly.
Don't
Alright,
talk
so
about anything else. Cut that out, please.
Cut. Okay.
I guess Counter-Strike Global Offensive has been doing some things.
What it?
Do you want me to start with the okay news or the bad news?
Is there okay news?
There's okay news,
Not good news.
and there's bad news. There's not good news
Give me both at the same time.
at the same time.
Yeah.
I can't. I physically
Okay,
am unable to
okay
do
news
that.
first.
Okay news first. Right, so they've changed all of the weapon sounds in the game.
Is that really the okay
Um,
news?
Yeah, the reason this is okay news is because the weapon sounds are okay, even though they sound a little bit stock. You know when you play like an indie game and they've got sounds that you know they've just gotten off like freegamesounds.org? That's what all the new weapon sounds sound like in Counter-Strike.
Well, why did they change it?
I don't know, and all the weapon sounds in Counter-Strike were so iconic as well. Everyone who's played Counter-Strike knows the AWP sound and the sound of the AK.
And I've heard that they've made guns that are previously silent now have sounds.
I mean,
that
makes
I don't think any of the guns didn't have any sound.
Well, I think
They all-
like they wouldn't be heard far away.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So the AWP now, when you fire the AWP, which is the big sniper rifle in CS:GO, now it has like an echo effect. I think someone told me the reason for the change is that now after you fire the AWP, you can hear people around you faster, so you're not like auditorily blind,
deaf.
That's the word.
deaf. Yeah, you're not like temporarily deaf until you can hear again. And also people can hear you like further across the map because it echoes like all the way around the map. I mean, it did that before though. I don't know. It seems weird. I don't know why they really changed them, to be honest.
Good on you.
But yeah, they've removed some really iconic sounds from the game. I don't really like the new ones, but it's not terrible news.
What's the
It could
terrible
be
news?
worse. So the terrible news.
Oh, it's yeah.
So, let me just check when Counter-Strike 1.6.
Yeah, sit down if you're not already.
Just take a seat. Take a seat real quick.
All right, you
Okay.
need to sit
So
down.
for the last for around a decade worth of Counter-Strike, you were able to import into the game a square image that you could spray on a wall in the game. And that was just a thing. It was a little bit of fun in the game, a little bit of spice, a little bit of zest. You can do it in TF2 as well. And now, they didn't add it to CSGO originally, which people were a little bit upset about because it's kind of like one of those classic features that people love, even though it doesn't really affect the game that much. Now they've added it to CSGO. Unfortunately, they decided that you have to pay money to get sprays that Valve create. You don't get to choose your own sprays, and you can only use them 50 times.
That's
Oh, so there's not even any
you have to
custom
buy new
sprays
ones.
anymore.
No custom
That's
sprays.
messed
You
up.
only get 50 uses, then you have to buy a new spray.
So it's like the Overwatch spray system, but worse.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, at least the Overwatch spray system, you don't have to pay for it, for one. And second, like, you can just do it when you want. You don't have, like, limited uses.
It seems like such a dumb decision to make. Like, how many people are going to be paying however much money it is for 50 sprays.
I mean,
when they could
Counter-Strike
just not
players
spray.
are pretty...
Like, I mean, there's a little bit of a tinfoil hat conspiracy going around on the Global Offensive Reddit, which is that Valve are doing this to desensitize users to the fact that they can't have custom sprays.
Damn.
And instead, everyone's going to be outraged about the fact you only have limited uses, and then Valve can roll that back and look like heroes to the community and doing what the community
That's
says.
fucking brilliant.
But then
If
they
that's
still
true-
don't have to add custom sprays.
That's true, man.
It reminds me of
Then Donald Trump gets elected. I see how it is.
It reminds me of that one Futurama episode where they went to the Slurm planet where they make Slurm, and they wanted to re-release that really shitty old Slurm, and then they would release the original thing as Slurm Classic and make a killing.
As someone who's never seen this episode,
I've never seen Futurama in my life.
Don't worry, Bern. Don't worry, Bern. I get it. I
Slurm.
understand it. It's a good
Slurm,
it's a good
it's
reference.
the most delicious caffeinated beverage you could buy.
So there was a beverage. They released a new version. People didn't like it, so they released the classic version.
Well, no, see, because they were going to turn Leela into a slug, and then she was going to shit out.
Sorry,
She was going to shit out
Yeah.
even, the worst Slurm.
For those who don't know, Slurm is made from the excretion of an alien race of creatures, and then they just sell it, apparently.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Great.
Yeah, so it's exactly like that episode of Futurama.
What were we
Alright.
talking about again?
Except with video games and Valve.
Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah, Counter-Strike.
Oh. I mean, Valve's just turned into a fucking
Yeah,
money-making machine.
We'll see. We'll see if it's actually a conspiracy next time
Like,
on the
I can't
RIPcast.
get mad at them though because VR.
Why?
What?
But
That was the most defeated sigh I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really gross sigh.
Yeah, because, like, Valve still does good things, and they used to do really good things, but, like, all of their mainline games, like Dota and Counter-Strike, just seem purely
Yeah,
driven by
that-
profit now.
they don't really do much other than charge more for things in their current games.
Half-Life 3 is never going to come out. Literally, all the development team does these days is find ways to milk more money out of the user base.
Do they
of
even
Dota
still
2 and
have the
Counter-Strike.
development team
So-
from the original Half-Life games on staff?
I don't think so. Probably not.
Got bored of waiting.
You can't imagine they're just going to be sitting around all day pumping out Schlurm for the fucking Counter-Strike players.
So I imagine like the story writer for Half-Life 3 is not still, making TF2 cosmetics.
God, imagine.
If he is, I'm really sorry for him.
What does 28 miles later the extended Shintari cut actually
I think
mean?
when we were getting ready for the podcast, you were moving your mic around, and I said you sounded like you were 28 miles away, and then Bern added it to the list of topics as a joke, and I thought it was a real thing.
Yeah, because
was
there's the movie 28 Days Later.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought, oh, they're doing a new 28 Days Later movie.
Well, no, but it's just
With
But
Eminem.
it's just a
Eminem as the
shitty
protagonist.
joke, the extended Shantari cut.
Yeah, so we have a shitty joke in our topic list. That's why this
there
bit
already
is
was
in here.
a sequel 28 weeks later.
I know, that's what I said.
And then 28
Oh, it
months
might have been
later.
months, I don't know.
No, it was 28 days and 28 weeks.
No, it was 28 days. No, wasn't it 28 hours?
Was
then
it in
days, then
hours? I
weeks?
think so.
I'm pretty.
Yeah,
There's definitely.
I think it's
two.
hours, days, weeks. Seconds, minutes.
The only thing I remember from that movie is that the zombies ran, and that was like the scary thing.
Yeah, I guess that was like one of the first running zombie movies, wasn't it? Which is
Decent.
fucked up. Zombies shouldn't be able to run.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Honestly, movies are scary enough for me as it is. I'm not very good at handling horror games or horror movies.
Or most
I like
things
horror,
in general.
I like horror books. I like books with like
Name a
horror
horror
in them.
book you read.
John dies at the end.
That's not a horror
Do you
book.
consider
It's written
that
by
horror?
the fucking Cracked. That's written by the Cracked writer. It's a comedy.
What about that one paragraph from him for the
That's a
chat?
terrifying paragraph.
Yeah.
I think I
If you want to just read it now.
We get copyright strikes by the ghost of
By,
David David J.
hang on, his
David
name's
J.
literally on
Blaine.
my- David Foster Wallace. There we go.
Beef, have you read the Odd Thomas series
Nope.
by John Lennon?
Wait,
Have you read Thomas the Tank Engine, the graphic novel?
What is going on right now?
talking about books.
All right. Well, as soon as we're talking about horror, I might as well have my little moment about Five Nights at
Oh, yeah.
Freddy's. So, am I right in assuming none of the three of you really care about?
It's all right.
There
I
was
think
a
it's like a
fucking
little- I
Odd
think it's a
Thomas
neat-
movie.
Burn.
Hold up, sorry, it's probably garbage. Yeah, it's garbage. What the fuck?
Moving on.
I
Moving
think
on from
Tom-
the Odd Thomas movie.
but
Yeah. What do you think about
I would
Thomas,
say-
right?
I think Five Nights at Freddy's is a neat little game. It's kind of like something I'd expect to find like Newgrounds, where it's like a neat little horror game. But I don't think it's that big a deal, honestly.
Well, it's definitely
What do you
big
think
deal.
about the backstory?
I think it's
to
just
Five
pretty
Nights at
silly,
Freddy's?
but it's kind of scary. You mean like the in-game backstory, right?
The
What do you mean?
secrets.
Yeah, like how it's like animatronics powered by real
Like
people.
the mini games and stuff. No. So there's like there's kind of a whole plot thread running through all the games, and there's a question as to whether the creator is just making this bullshit up and people are finding meaning where there isn't supposed to be any.
I think
But authorial intent doesn't matter. So
definitely.
Have we confirmed that? Has definitely the author's not really that well accepted these days.
is it not?
I feel like.
I think it should be.
I feel like there's some merit in learning about the author before reading a book, or after reading it anyway, to kind of see where they were coming from.
Regardless, there's a whole backstory to Five Nights at Freddy's, and I can't really sum it up because there's so much shit that people have come up with about it. But basically, it revolves around like a series of murders at these pizza chains and accidents. It's just really interesting, man. I don't know. I really love it. Like all the YouTube videos people make that goes in depth about all the secrets in the game and all like the mini games where you can find.
Do you like
out
alternate
all
reality
this shit.
games then, Chantari? Do you like ARCs?
Yeah, I really like.
I remember I was
alternate
really
reality
into
games.
when Marble Hornets was a thing. All those Slenderman arcs that were coming out. I followed those like religiously, man.
And then look what happened to Slenderman.
Yeah, now it's fucked.
Basically the same thing that happened to
Slenderman.
Five Nights at Five.
Just call it FNAF.
FNAF,
Thomas
yeah.
the Tank Engine.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been hella fucking Five Nights at Freddy's clones. Some of them are actually really good. What's the name? What's the name of the one I'm thinking
I
of?
remember seeing a VR game based
I'm
around.
gonna
I'm
have
like, nope, that's not gonna happen ever.
I'd
When
love
is
to play
Chucky
the
the
VR Five Nights at
Chucky the
Freddy's. That
Cheese?
seems like
When is
a
Chucky Cheese? When is Chucky Cheese gonna catch?
5 chucks at the cheese.
When is Chucky Cheese gonna cash in on Five Nights at Freddy?
It's really surprising they haven't just turned all their parks or parks.
Could you imagine if, like, for Halloween, Chuck E. Cheese became like a horror like walkthrough place?
That'd be terrible.
Oh,
That'd be
one
awesome.
night. Okay, this
They're
isn't
already terrible.
This isn't going to sound like an amazing game, but believe me, one night at Flumpty's.
Good.
I clipped my microphone so hard. I'm looking at the waveform and it just.
There was an SMT style RPG made about Five Nights at
What?
Freddy's called Five Nights at
What?
Fuckboys,
What? Oh,
which is
That's
actually
just-
good as well. Well, good in air quotes. Like
I would love to play an
Newgrounds good.
SMT style.
Yeah, man. Check
Anything.
out,
Five Nights at Freddy's.
check out Five
Anything,
Nights
yeah.
at Fuckboys.
Jesus. Christ.
Speaking of Smith, Persona 5
Oh,
came
hang on.
out.
Before you say that, the whole reason I brought
It's
up
out?
Five Nights at Freddy's is that there's another Five Nights at Freddy's out.
I mean, but that's you can just say
Cool.
that for any month of the year.
Five Nights
It'll
at
be
Freddy's sister location. And
It's
this one, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to wrap up the plot a little bit more. So there's this character in in the Five Nights at Freddy's games and the Easter eggs and stuff called the Purple Guy, who supposedly like murdered children at one of the Five Nights at Freddy's locations. And in the most recent one, it's revealed that he's the creator of the animatronics. Oh,
I've never seen
crazy
you so
shit.
like earnestly excited about something.
I'm
Chantari.
like, okay, you say this every podcast whenever I get excited about something.
Yeah, maybe for some reason I just can't think of you being excited, but you are excited.
Listen,
much as a
man,
normal
I
person.
love this shit.
Definitely the accent. We think of British people as being posh and nonplussed about
Yeah.
things.
Two very
Hey,
British
I say.
words.
You got less British when you did that, Shintaro.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it sounded like an American accent you were putting on there. It was a bit weird.
Well, today I learned how to put on an American accent.
Just pretend to be British, even though you already are.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, Persona 5, what are you saying?
Persona
Carry
5 came out in Japan, and it's apparently pretty good.
Good.
Like,
And it's
And
coming
you-
out here in
February.
Alright,
February.
listen. Pitch me Persona games. Why do I want to play a
there's no
Persona
reason.
game?
To pitch them to you. You probably wouldn't like them. They're like slice
Yeah.
of life anime distilled
Yeah.
into video
this
game form.
is-
And then it's like everything. It's like slice of life anime, and then
Try
everything
and,
gets really
try and
fucked
pitch
up.
me Slice of Life anime, though.
I can't. You didn't like Yushiki, so
Why
You
would
can't be
anyone
helped.
like Slice of Life anime? I don't
why do you
understand.
like Five Nights at Freddy? Don't fucking
Probably
get on
like-
my case, but
Hibiki Euphonium. You'd probably like that.
What,
Yeah,
what did
so
you
what-
say? What did you just call me?
Can we
need to
dial
do-
it back to Persona 5 real quick?
Yeah, sorry. We're getting vastly out of
All right,
Just-
so real quick, I don't know how many people are familiar with Persona in general, or SMT really.
Yeah, Persona 5 is much more SMT-like
Yeah,
than
it is.
previous installations, which is good, which means it's more
It's a better game.
serious and better.
Yeah,
But,
I'd probably enjoy
in-
that more.
The Persona games that most people are familiar with are 3 and 4, and you fought shadows in that game, which is weird. But in like literally every other Shin Megami Tensei game, you fight the demons, and the demons were usually used as personas in the Persona games, but we're going to be fighting demons in Persona 5, and you can actually do the conversation mechanic with them in Persona 5, which is hilarious and wonderful, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, the idea of SMT is that you fight demons, but you can also convince them to join your team through like really crazy dialogue options and like bribing them or giving them items.
Makes sense.
And it's pretty fun. Persona
Is
5 is
there,
probably good.
is there another SMT mainline game coming out anytime soon?
One came out 2 weeks
Just
ago.
recently, yeah.
Oh shit, what was that?
It's an expansion for SMT4, right?
Yes, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, as it's known in America.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
Shantari, if you've never played SMT, SMT4 is pretty good.
It is
I've played
really
SMT.
good.
You played SMT?
Yeah, I've played some SMT games. I've played Nocturne. I played
Oh, yeah, Nocturne.
What's the one on the DS that's like Devil's...
Digital Devil Saga.
No,
Yeah. Not that one.
Devil Survivor. It was on the DS.
Devil Survivor,
Oh.
yeah. The one where it's like a top-down, like, tactical...
Strategy
Fire Emblem
RPG.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good. Devil Survivor's really good.
All the SMT mainline games.
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
are good.
I don't think there's a bad SMT game.
Like, Devil Summoner Raidu is really cool.
Is Digital Devil Saga the one on PS2?
PS2, yeah.
Yeah, I want to play that one. That one looks cool.
That
watched
one's my
people
favorite.
stream that one.
I
Yeah?
tried emulating that like 7 years ago, and it ran too slow, so I never played it.
Wow.
So maybe now's the time.
Because I got Digital Devil Saga a long time ago, and I played through the first one, and then I eventually I found the second one randomly one day in Tennessee, so I bought it, and I never I never got
I was
around to
walking one day in Tennessee.
just randomly in Tennessee. I was there. I
Lo and
went to a
behold.
GameStop, and it was just displayed up behind the cashier.
I just
and
had
I was
a big...
I was just I would like that game, please, and they were like, all right, hell yeah.
They
Of
look
course
at
they
each
like,
other
alright.
worried. They're like, "Oh shit, this guy wants the cursed digital devil something."
It probably was cursed because when I started playing it,
Your
the
brother died.
power cut out in the middle of the spookiest dungeon in the world 3 times. I'm like, I can't believe
Burn.
what.
Release the ghost.
Did I get a haunted copy of
You
Shin
released
Megami
the
Tensei
spooky.
Digital Devil Saga 2?
This would make a really good creepypasta.
But did you actually know Swix before you played the copy of Digital Devil Saga?
Oh my
You
god.
might have released Swix from the video game.
Oh no. Actually, I'm not
worst-
sure whether or not I did.
Oh my god.
I don't remember.
You open a worse version of Pandora's box. Bert.
Oh no.
The only issue, there was nothing good in it.
Pandora's
Just all the
Digital
evil
Devil
in the
Saga.
world. All the weed in the world.
But I got pretty far in that game, and then because I was playing on the PS3, the old PS3s that could play PS2 games, but then my PS3 decided to stop reading discs, so I was like, all right, that sucks. So I couldn't play that anymore. I didn't want to play through the 75% of the game I had already done, because I was a lazy sack of shit. So I actually ended up making an ISO of the game, and then taking my the memory from the PS3, putting it on a USB drive and sticking it in my computer, and then going through 6 different conversion programs to make it run on the PS2 emulator. So I had an ISO from the game that I already owned.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot
I
of
must
work.
have really loved that fucking game.
I love Digital Devil Saga.
Cursed.
Yeah.
I love it.
Download the curse.
I
You
downloaded
uploaded
the
that
curse.
cursed internet.
You released Swix onto the internet.
So yeah, I went through a whole lot of work to
And
get.
it worked?
Yeah, it worked.
Did it work?
It played perfect.
Wow.
It played perfectly. It was
That
great.
seems like such a roundabout
That's a
way to
lovely-
get a game to play.
I mean,
That's
but
a-
I wanted to
That's a lovely
continue from where I
story to
was.
end the podcast on. That's a beautiful note to finish on.
I mean, contractually, we can't end the podcast for another 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Burn, do you want to just sing?
Martin Shkreli would get pretty upset.
Do you want to just sing for 2 minutes, Burn?
No.
No.
This is what I want to talk about.
Yep, 2 minutes.
Save the politics for the end. Everyone knows the election's going on. I'm not going to talk about.
Oh, let's save that for the end before we get sent to the podcast. We can talk about politics.
What? It is no. Okay.
Hold on, I'm not
So
done
everyone
talking
knows
about
who,
my weeaboo bullshit. Give me a second.
Alright, sorry.
Yeah,
Ready?
2 minutes.
Ready for more weeaboo bullshit?
I'm ready for the weeaboo
Let's
bullshit.
hear it.
We'll just
All
cut
right.
out the last minute.
Shin Megami Tensei is a good series. Go buy 4 and then go buy Apocalypse and play them both because they're fantastic games. Also, Phoenix Wright came out.
Oh, yeah.
The 6th game. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. And I was worried that this game might not be that good because I liked Ace Attorney 5. I liked the one before this one. But it didn't make me feel all the wonderful things I felt in the first 3 games. But 6, that shit, top tier, 100%, 10 out of 10, would bang. If you're on the fence about buying that game, just fuck it. Go buy it.
So recommendation of the week, is it Ace Attorney 6?
I would say yes, please. Recommendation of the game, of the week, of the game. I'm so excited about this game.
Would you
I'm
recommend
flustered.
Ace Attorney 6 over SMT4/Apocalypse?
That is
I would say SMT.
hard to say because they're 2 very different games.
Incredible.
Yeah, and one's incredibly better.
Wow.
Damn,
Fighting
dude.
words.
SMT.
But if you like Phoenix Wright, and honestly, you could skip, well, maybe you probably couldn't skip 4, but if you haven't played 5, you could honestly skip 5 and jump right into 6 without missing too much. Because any mechanics that they introduced in 5, they explain to you. You have the option of getting that explained to you again in 6. So,
Is
Okay.
this the crossover game with Professor Layton?
no.
Wasn't that game god awful?
Yeah.
Probably.
I remember people saying that game was just absolutely horrific.
Okay, but if you have 7 seconds, say what you have to say about Donald Trump.
I wasn't going to talk about
5,
Donald Trump. I was going to
4.
talk about Palmer Luckey, one of the.
And cut.
Oh,
See you guys next time.
okay, fine. We'll talk about it.
Thanks for... No, we won't. Thanks for watching.
Bye, gamers. Subscribe on
Bye.
patreon.com.
Why would you say bye gamers when you say later gamers? It sounds so much better.